I'm Beth from BettesMakes, and today we're going to be making a dragonfly mandala. So this little guy you see here is what we're going to use as the basis of this project. And of course, I'm providing you with the link on where to get this dragonfly. It is a dragonfly mandala done in Zentangle. And you'll see by my layers panel right here that I've already done a lot of work with this. So we're just going to use this one as an example. So right now, I'm just going to remove our text and we're going to start playing with our dragonfly here. And we are going to make this a Zentangle, but we're going to have a background to it. We're going to make some changes to it. So I want to keep this one as the top layer. So we're going to make 4 layers here, and you can see that I made 4 on the side already, but we're going to do ours a little bit different. We're going to leave this one as black. That is going to be our top layer, but we're going to play with 4 different layers, and we're going to do it one piece at a time, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the very first thing we want to do is click on duplicate. I want to keep my top layer over here to the side so that we're not touching it. This is going to be the very back of our mandala. So I'm just going to move it down so we can see as we work with things here. So this very back one, we don't want anything to show. We just want a background with it. So in order to do that, we're going to come down here at the bottom of the layers panel, and you're going to see a little word here called contour. I am going to click on contour, and that's why I wanted to move things down. As you can see, it's going to generate here all of the pieces and parts we see in our dragonfly. Now, it is at 197%, so I think I'm going to reduce it down so we can actually see things, about 72%. There it is. That's pretty small. So I'll just bring it up a little bit so we can see what we're working with. Say around 172. So I'm just going to have to give it a second or two, because I find with the contour, it quite often takes a little while to generate. Well, first thing we want to do is we're going to come over here and click on hide all contours. Now I know it's going to take a little bit to catch up with us. And it should be able to just put them for here. Give it a second or two to catch up. You'll find in Design Space sometimes things don't work as quickly as you want them to. But you just have to be a little patient while we wait for it. There it goes. I can see all of the pieces and parts that we've got there, and we've got it picked to hide all the contours. Now, it's not caught up with this quite yet. This may take a little bit of time. I can't even move anything. So we're just going to have to be very patient with it at this point. Should show all our parts and pieces. It will render. You can hear the computer working in the background trying to make this work for us. Now, this is a pretty simple project, and I know it's taking a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this. Oh, that's what it wanted to do. It wanted me to close it. So this is our background color. And when I had the previous one, I had changed it to purple. So we can pick any color we want. This is the basic cut. Everything will be a cut. So we want to make this one a little bit different. So why don't we make this one a nice light blue? So this is going to be our background color. Then gradually we're going to open all things out. So we need 2 more layers of this. So I want to keep the background. I want to keep the top. So I'm going to duplicate this one. Just give me a duplicate, and I'm going to just move it out of the way. Now we're going to work with this one. Let's see if I can make my screen a little bit bigger so that we'll be able to work with it a little easier. Okay, so let's just bring it down. Now I'm going to make some holes in this that will shine through onto the back. Now we don't have to do a lot of it. Once again, I'm going to come down and click on contour. It's just going to take a second, and I'm going to show them all at this point. It does take a little bit. There we go. We can see everything. Now we have to decide how much of the blue we want to shine through. Now, if I click on hide all contours, it will go back to this, and then I can open up the few that I want to show the blue through, which is a lot easier than picking everything at once. So let's click back on hide all contours. As you can see, nothing is showing. So now what we can do is we can click on things one at a time, what we want to show through. It'll just take a second or two to catch up with us. It's just hiding everything right at this point. There we go. So I've got this one selected. Maybe I want this one to show through, and perhaps this one. Just have to get it to select. Maybe this one. Oh, it picked that one. I don't want that one. Let's see how it changes like that. That's when I have to click on it. So I have to make sure I pick it. So it's sometimes quite hard to find the one you're looking for. There we go. Now I can click on it. And maybe this one. Let me just move over here. You can see sometimes they're really hard to select. Oh, there's that one. Let's see where we can get here. And maybe we want, let's see if I can catch this one. There it is. And I'll just pick on a few like that. So I only want a few with the blue showing through. Maybe I can pick one more up here. As you can see, you can get as detailed as you want. And since this is taking a fair amount of time, I'll just pick on a couple of them, and then I'll click my X. And you can see where it just punched the holes exactly where I had made the selection. So I'm going to change the color of this. So we'll make it a nice red or something to that effect. And what will happen is this one will go below it. So I'm going to arrange this one and send it to the back. And then we can highlight over top. As you can see, I'm going to get that. Now, if we didn't do any more, I'm going to click on our top one, and it seems to be at the front already. Okay, let's grab this, and this can go over top. So this is what we would end up with. So I always suggest putting another layer in between. So in order to do another layer, what you want to do is take this previous one that you already have. Get these ones out of the way here. Previous one you already have that you've made the selections, and what you want to do is duplicate that one and move that one over. So those are the three you're keeping. Then we can click on this one and go back to contour down at the bottom. Now it's just going to take a little while to load this in. And then you can pick some more holes that you want just the red. So we have some holes already selected, which is fine. And then what I might do is just pick an area, maybe add some more holes here. See, it would allow me to select. I'm just doing this at random right now because we're going to use the one that I had previously done. This is painstakingly slow work. Okay, here's the size. I can pick on a couple more here. This is just to give you an idea of what I'm doing here. Some of the bigger ones. Ooh, got one there and there. Remember, I'm just picking these at random. You can be more strategic with what you're doing. What if I made it a little bigger, if it would help? I wanted to get this one, but I don't know if it's picking what I want here. Picking a lot of the little ones. It's really painfully slow on this one. So I'm just going to pick on those, and I'm just going to click away from that. And it didn't really pick a lot of them out. Oh, there we go. So we ended up with just this. And of course, I'm going to pick on another color. Let's go with the gold one. So this one should go underneath that one. So what we want to do is arrange that one, send it to the back. So now we have the gold that's going to fit over top. We have the blue one. Oh, well, this one's just going to go over the top. So we have some showing through, and then this one needs to go to the back. So I'm going to arrange it and I'm going to send it to the back. Then I'm going to take all of these and I am going to align them horizontally and vertically. And it didn't quite work because we have this extra piece here. See if I can grab it. It's a yellow piece. I know it's quite big, so let's see if I can grab just the yellow. No, it doesn't seem to want to let me. But as you can see, we can put those 4 layers together. Now I'm going to take this whole thing and I am actually going to delete it. And I'm going to move our other one right back into position so you can see that we had done in the past. Here, where is it? There it is. So I'm just going to grab this guy. And these are the ones that I had contoured from before. As you can see, you end up with 4 different. So this is the background, that's the full contour. Then comes the next one that we can put into place here that shows just a little bit of the purple. Then I added more holes with this one and it covered up some of the purple. So I changed my mind. And then, of course, this is the one on the top. And we have 4 different layers for this mandala. So we're actually going to cut this out in vinyl. So we are actually ready to make this. I'm going to turn on my maker here. And I've actually pre-cut it, but I want to show you where we're going to go with this. I'm just going to click on Make It. And it's going to be on the mat and done. So it's going to cut them out of different materials. Now, if you wanted to, you could probably fit a couple on the same mat. So let's take this yellow one. I'm going to click on the ellipse here and I'm going to move the object to the first mat. I'm going to confirm that. And we just have to know that we want it a different color. And I don't know if we can fit a couple more on there. What I'm going to do is put these down in opposite corners just so I know that I can put a piece of vinyl here and a piece of vinyl here and everything should fit. Now let's try one more and see if it will fit on there as well. I'm going to move the object. Let's try and move it to the front one. I'm not too sure if it will fit. It looks like it will not. So I'm actually going to move it back, move object. I'm going to put it on the last one. So I actually only have to have 2 different mats. So I just have to remember I want 4 different colors. So everything looks okay now. So this is just basic cut. So I'm just going to click continue. And by the way, these are small enough that you can actually use your joy as well. And we are just going to go with vinyl. And all I have to do is now cut it. Okay, I am going to move cameras over. I'm just going to stop the share here and I'm going to move my camera over. And I've actually cut these all out of the 4 different colors that we had seen with the yellow and red on the top and these 2. So what we want to do is we want to put this all together and then apply it to somewhere else. Now, the biggest issue most people have is being able to get this properly placed on this. You take it off and you keep placing it, placing it, placing it. Well, there are some very easy ways to do this, and you can use some parchment paper in order to do that, or you can use another type of paper where things aren't going to stick. Now, I generally like to use the back of one of these, or I can use the paper that comes off our mats, the protective color from the mat. So I have a protective sheet here. So what we want to do is just come up, and this is just a few little details. I'm just going to turn this off, move it to the back so we have a little extra room to work. I'll move these over here. Now this could be a piece of parchment paper. So what we want to do is put these all together. Now, I know for ours, you've got these little antenna that you want to start to match up right away. I'm just rolling this back, and I want to match as close as possible here. I don't really want to stick it until I've got the antenna pieces matching. Got a little bit of a stick there. This is not the easiest thing to do, is do the matching. So I'm using this, so if I stick things incorrectly, I'm just going to pull it back this way a bit. See, we're getting a little more stuck than I want to. I pulled too soon. I know you can't quite see what I'm doing here. What I want to do is just push this paper up a little bit. And I wish you could see it a little better. It's just that it's stuck to my thumb. Now we have the first little part stuck together. I'm just going to move it over here so I can see it a little better. Now the reason I have the paper underneath is I just want to slide it a little bit at a time. Because the idea is you just want to match the top just a little bit at a time. If you do more than just a little bit, you'll find things won't match the way you want them to. There we go. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Okay. Let me take a giant leap here. Yeah, we're looking really good. Now this is really not the easiest thing to do because you don't want to stretch your vinyl. And I still have a lot to go with this. So I'm just gently pulling on the back piece here. Pull it off of here. Just get it off my original piece. Oh, and I did pull part of it off, but that's okay. We can fix that too. Now you just gently want to match things up. Okay, now we want to put the rest of this into place. Don't worry about the extra pieces I have here. The reason I have the extra pieces is when I was weeding, I missed a couple of extra ones. Careful when I pull this off now. I do want to match it up. And I never worry if things come apart. It's more the upper layers more than anything that we have to worry about. What we'll do is just keep that protected as much as possible so that when I match it up, it's going to fit right into place. Once you get the first few, it seems to go right back into place. And I have a couple of bubbles there, but this is it'll work out. I'm going to take out a tool that I have here just to smooth it down a little bit. And that's just my little scraper. Remember, I've still got the major part of it is on the parchment paper. And I know this one is not meant for sticking because it sticks to those mats. So the next one we wanted was the yellow one. And I'm thinking of starting at the other end here so I can see it a little better. I'll pull it right off this paper. And it is stuck. Now we can add some of these extra pieces back on when we're ready. Let me just pull some of this off here. Okay, so I've got the little bottom piece. I'm just going to roll this a little bit so I can get to the bottom piece here. And this is where we're going to be working. Let me just move this around a little bit. Bottom piece here. slightly off, but that's okay. Let's just slide it down a little bit more. Okay, so these are the bottom layers, and they're not as, don't have to worry too much about them lining up as much as you do want to have this last one coming right on top. Now we had a couple of circles here that we can add. I'm just going to pull those off one at a time and add those in. One more. Okay, so this last piece is going to probably be the more difficult one to get on top because you don't want any errors on this one whatsoever. And I can see we have little circles here that are coming on top anyway, so I'm just going to pick on those and I am going to put them in place right away. We're showing a little bit. Now this last one is where you really don't want to see any extra little bubbles that are happening here. And I'm going to see if I can use this piece on the back here to be able to slide it into place. What I find the most difficult part with this is because it has so many parts and pieces, you really only want to put on a little bit at a time. And with a design quite like this, it becomes a little more difficult to do that. So I'm just going to match these guys up right away. I'm going to press them into place. Now, in theory, you're supposed to be able to just pull on the rest of the design and it should just slide into place. With anything, match stuff up as best you can. That only seemed to be okay for the head. Now we do have several pieces and parts that have to go on this. We have the wings and everything else that we want to be able to match up. But if I pull these all off at the same time, we're going to find that we're going to run into the same bubble problem that we've had before. So I'm going to have to find another solution here. And I don't want to pull against anything. We do have move that into place. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull these apart. Let's pull this wing. If this were simply a surface with some holes, everything the same shape, it's all round, it is a little easier to deal with. But since this is not, and we have to match so many parts and pieces together, it becomes a little more difficult. Now, I'm not going to be able to do this right away, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors. I'm actually going to cut this right here so I know I've got the head piece in place. And that way I can be sure that I can have the integrity of each of the parts, the wings. So what I will do next, I think I will take the bottom part and we're going to match that up as best we can. I'm just going to fold it back. Match that one up. Seems to be matching okay. Now I've got a little bit of a bubble and I don't want that. There we go. We're matching up a lot better this time. But with anything else, I'm just going to give it a little cut here. And another one here. And most people will probably tell you not to do that, but I just want to make sure our design is going to fit in the way we want it to. So next, I can pick on a pair of wings, and I will pick on this other side right now. I have to place these both at the same time. Over. Pretty good on this one, and then I'll fold this one over and match that one up at the same time. Now we should be able to gently pull. Just want to make sure it's not hanging on to anything. The hardest part is to make sure you're not getting any bubbles in there as you're doing this. Pieces and parts of this. So let's grab this one, get it to line up. Grab this one, and I'm sorry if you can't see everything that we're doing, but this will be speeded up. All right. Now, you'll notice it did take a lot of work in order to get it to where it is, but now we can put it almost anywhere we want because in behind here, well, if I pull it off, we have one piece now that we're working with, and then we can stick it on a nice object. I could actually put it on my Cricut, but it is a little too big for that. So it's a beautiful little mandala, and I hope you had a lot of fun putting this together because the hardest part is putting the layers on, especially with the sticky vinyl. Now, I didn't have any parchment paper today, but generally I use parchment paper underneath and slide it down a little bit at a time. But this one is pretty detailed, so you may have to use one of your weeding tools to get everything to line up into place. So this is the first one that we've done, and you may want to try another one, maybe not so detailed with a few different spots and pieces. You can use elephant, you can use any kind of animal with a Zentangle type element behind it. So I hope you had a lot of fun with this. Let's see if you can see this a little better. So that is our Dragonfly Mandala. And until next time, happy crafting.